think it's about time we get a guest on, isn't it? I thought we'd get a big name on to kick off 2020 as we mean to go on. So Wales fly half Gareth Anscombe joins us. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. Yeah, all good. Thanks for having me.
Mate, yeah, thanks for coming on. Mate, we'll get straight into it because I know you're out with an injury at the minute and it's a long-term injury and probably longer than you expected and maybe the fans expected. Straight up, how are you?
I'm not too bad. I have some good days and bad days like everyone else. It's been a pretty testing time, and I guess you learn a bit more about yourself during this. But it's been pretty frustrating. But I think it came out that I had a second operation a couple of weeks ago, which was probably always planned. We'd hoped that I wouldn't need it, but it's pretty common these days with these injuries, and that's allowed me to feel much better, and I'm making slow gains. I've still got to make some further improvements to really get it going, but it's okay, and hopefully, I'll see some light at the end of the tunnel soon.
And it's pretty rare that you see us Warriors just cracking on when we're injured, but in all seriousness, when you injured your knee in the game, and it looked quite serious, you carried on playing. I think you even put an up and under in. Did you not realise how serious the injury was when you initially did it?
It was a funny one, really. I remember doing it, and it felt unusual. I heard a bang and a pop and a bit of a twist, but when I hit the deck, I sort of quickly checked my knee to see if, structure, if it felt unusual, and it didn't. It was a little bit sore, but obviously when I've seen a lot of boys playing rugby have ACLs, and they're in immense pain, and I guess my reaction was a lot different to that, which is why I didn't think it was that serious. And the doctors and physios checked it out, and at the time they thought it was okay. So the advice was just to try run it off, and I kicked the conversion with it, which was the first bit that it was quite sore, and then about 2 minutes later I had about 2 kicks out of hand, and both were really sore. And I guess after the second one, I kind of knew I'd done something a little bit more serious, and then I guess at the end I had a quick chip and chase just to sort of finish it off, and I knew it wasn't probably quite right. And at the time, speaking to the medics, I was a little nervous about it, but the fact that I played on and managed to kick a little bit, we felt hopefully that would mean it wasn't too bad. But the scan was certainly a lot worse than what we first feared.
We just had Christmas. And as an injured player, I know you've got loads of rehab going on, all that stuff. But one, how hard is it when you're injured to keep the weight off? Because I struggled when I was playing, let alone when I was injured. And two, how much did you enjoy Christmas as a injured player and being able to indulge? And we're hearing rumours that you had a massive Kiwi get-together on Christmas Day with Rhys Williams, and there was a 50-kilo pig and a 40-kilo lamb cooked.
Was his mum there? I saw the video on Cardiff, mate. I saw the video. It looked class. Lovely woman. Mate, lovely bloke by the sounds of it. How good was it?
Yeah. Firstly, Christmas has been fairly enjoyable from a social point of view, I suppose. And I think with the type of injury I had, originally I was trying to keep my head on it and, train hard and watch what I was eating. But I guess with these injuries, sometimes mentally it can play a bigger part, and so I decided to sort of relax a little bit and enjoy Christmas, because it's very rare that we do get to enjoy the Christmas off and have a few, beers and things like that. So I have put on a little bit of weight, especially around the draft. But,
yes.
There's a bit of work to be done there. And from a Christmas point of view, we've sort of had, a Kiwi orphan Christmas now for the last 5 or 6 years, where, a lot of the boys from back in New Zealand or Australia tend to, obviously all our families are back, in New Zealand or whatever, and so we tend to get together. And this year was a bit bigger than normal with a few of the boys and their families. And obviously Nick's mum came over a couple of weeks ago. She just left, actually, so it was nice to have her. And Nick decided to do a big pig on the spit. So we're up at, I think I turned it on at 3 a.m. and
wow.
we had that going for about 12 hours. So it was a big job, but we had plenty of meat, and certainly Nick knows how to put away his food. So we didn't go hungry, that's for sure.
It sounded the polar opposite of mine, mate. If you had a chainsaw, you could have brought it to my house to cook the turkey, mate. That's all I'm saying, to cook the turkey, I should say. Mate, we need to talk about it, and it's going to be a difficult one for you because you've only just gone to Ospreys, and you've obviously we've all seen there's been a few problems there. What is the mood like there? Because the whole situation around Alan Clark leaving and then being held at the club, and naturally the results and stuff, it's been difficult. How is the vibe at the Ospreys?
Yeah, look, it's tough. There's been no lack of effort. The boys have, from what I've seen, are still training hard, and in games, I've given it all. We've just sort of lacked a little bit of quality at times, and we just haven't been quite as accurate as we would have liked to have been. And then obviously with Sparky moving on, and that's been a little bit unsettling with a lot of movement. And I suppose Jockey, Nat Sherritt, announced he's off to Worcester. So look, from a professional point of view, it's been tricky for all the boys, I think, and that with the fact that Ospreys have had a lot of players in the Welsh environment, and obviously with their layoff coming back from the World Cup and the Barbars, and we just haven't been able to field our best team for a long period of the season, and then on top of that, I've never come across an injury list like the one we've got. I've been in some teams that we've had it pretty bad with 5 or 6, but we've been double figures now for I don't know, it seems like 3 months. There's at least 10 to 13 boys in the injury ward, and half of them, all of us, are long-term injuries, which has been really frustrating and also unusual. So I do feel for the boys in the group in that sense, because some of these things you can't control. So we've had to play some young boys that are probably still finding their feet at this level, and it can be tough, and I guess case in point in the weekend, sometimes it's a bit like quicksand with, the harder you try, the bigger the mess or hole that you create, and, nothing just seems to be going for us at the moment. So it's been a challenging time for us, for sure.
But some good news coming out of the club and over in Wales is the fact that Rhys Webb is coming back and is signed for the Ospreys, and also can now play in the Six Nations. Have you spoken to Rhys? Are you looking forward to getting him back? And more importantly, how is he? Because he's just been told, or I've just read in the press today, that the Toulon owner has said he's never playing for Toulon again. Let's get him back to Wales now.
Yeah, typically Toulon, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I've had some brief messages with Webby. I think he's excited about coming back, and obviously, the Ospreys is home and Wales is home, and I think he's talked a little bit about the troubles and problems he's had with being away from his family, and probably maybe didn't expect that to be as difficult. I think, from another point of view, I think he's, like any rugby player, you want to be in the shop window of playing Test rugby, and I think, watching the World Cup and things like that, I think probably he found harder than he was expecting, and obviously when you've got the likes of Gareth Davies and Thomas Williams and Ella Davies putting their hands up and playing well, I guess he wants to come back and compete for that jersey and potentially put his hand up. So from a Welsh point of view, it's great that we've got so many halfbacks, fighting for one jersey and a real strength and depth there. So I think he's really hungry to get back to that level. And, from an Ospreys point of view, it's great that we've managed to get him back for next season.
And then also as a professional rugby player, a lot of focus is all on the rugby, but you're pretty good away from the field, aren't you? Involved with a few businesses, Loose Heads, Leisure Wear. But the one I'm more interested in is a new business called Fit App with Alex Cuthbert that you're involved with. Is that going to help me with my weight gaining?
No, it's not. No.
My fitness? Can you give us a bit of detail on that?
We aim to hope so, Goody. But yeah, look, it's been an interesting learning curve for myself, and obviously with the injury, one thing I was keen to do was try not to get too stale with just being in rugby, and try and use the time to just be a bit of a normal person and mix up with a different crowd, and this business opportunity sort of presented itself a little while ago with Cussy, who I'm good mates with, and our other business partner Dean Jones, and we just decided to give it a crack, and it seems to be going okay at the moment. We're still sort of in its infancy of launching it now, but I guess Fit App's basically designed, it's more or less a search engine comparison site for all things fitness, sport, health related, and well-being, and trying to make it easier for anybody really to start their fitness journey mentally and physically really, and hopefully I guess the aim is really just to try and give the consumer as many choices as possible for a pretty cost-effective way of doing it as well. So it's been interesting doing it, and I guess with all things business, you never quite know how it's going to go. So we just thought we'd dive into it, and it's been nice to mix it up, and then I guess from, like you mentioned, with loose heads, I think now with professional sport particularly, we can see the toll that trying to perform at that level can take on people's mental health, and we thought it'd be good to help support that a little bit more. And I've seen some players go through some pretty tough times, and I guess we thought just for anyone really, we thought we could help support people in a better way. And I think as well with mental health, I don't think you need to be necessarily in a dark place to go through it. It's like anything, really. You can always get stronger at things, and whether that's just being a bit more sure to yourself and your processes and doing that, then why not try and better yourself in that way as well. So that's why the partnerships with Loose Heads have been really beneficial from that point of view as well.
Yeah, if you've got any XXL clothing, I'll take some of that. And then the fit up.
I'll get touch with it.
The fit up, I need to lose 10 kilos, so if that can help me as well, that'd be great.
You can be one of the first clients, eh?
So for the millions of listeners and watchers out there, I think we've got about 3 million people in Wales. Is there 3 million people in Wales even? That, I have no idea.
3 million sheep. 3 million sheep.
How do they get hold of the app? Is it on iTunes and stuff? So how do the millions of listeners get hold of that?
No, it's not on just yet. But yeah, look, we will have the app will be going live shortly. It's not quite ready to go just yet. So we'll have an app which basically everyone can go on, and a website, fitapp.co.uk. And that will be a way of, I guess, signing up, registering, and hopefully then we can, help people start or continuing their fitness journey, and or, like I said, I guess help people with, their mental health as well. So that will be the best way of people signing up to that.
Good on you, mate.
All right, Gareth, best of luck with both those ventures, and of course with your injury. Hopefully we'll see you back out in the field sooner rather than later, mate. Cheers for coming on the show.